Salam, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Kemet Podcast, sponsored by Kemetic Means of Production. Happy winter solstice, Alan, and happy Hanukkah, happy Christmas. So this is sort of a holiday or Christmas special, Hanukkah special, winter solstice special, and the idea behind it, I'll get to in a moment, but I wanted Alan. Um, Kapulski to introduce himself and his relation to music, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I'm trying to accomplish with this special, this episode, and then we'll get right into it.
Uh, Hello there, Robert. Nice to be here. Um, and let's bring the light back again as of today. My name's Alan Kapulski. I have a pretty diverse background, but my background is rooted in a whole series of like cross cultural and oops, sorry about that. That's my microphone. Sorry. uh, Cross cultural musical practices, and a lot of that is rooted in musical improvisation. And it goes up to a lot of places with my background of having been involved with Afro-Brazilian music and Eastern African, Northern African music, Roma Gypsy music. And I do that with different versions of prepared guitar and tuba playing and upright bass and viola. And I write some original compositions, sometimes for film. And I'm really interested in that interaction between the image and audio. Um, and that's the short part of that story.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, let me give an overview of the what I'm trying to accomplish with this episode, this special. So I've been making music for 25 plus years, and for those who don't know, I'm originally from Cairo, Egypt. I thought of this episode as kind of a 2 hour introduction to my music to go over composing, recording, arranging, instrumentation, and especially the question of style or genre, which is, I think, a difficult question for me when I get asked, "Oh, what kind of music do you make?" I usually don't know how to answer that question because it's all over the place. And instead of trying to answer that, I want to kind of um, go through my discography on Bandcamp with Alan. He'll be a questioner, an interlocutor, so it'll be a dialectical, dialogical process. We'll be listening to samples, starting from old stuff, moving into the newer stuff. We won't be able to exhaustively listen to everything because that would take more than 2 hours, but we'll try to sample stuff that would give us a sense of like a range of styles and and a variety of experiences. Um, that kind of covers it. Once we start the sharing of the screen and the music and all that, Alan will be able to ask me questions and we'll look at albums and talk about technology, process behind it. Any questions about music that you want to ask me, that you're curious about, and hopefully it's a fruitful conversation. Alan asked me if he should prepare in any way, listening to things ahead of time, and I said no. I want it to be improvised. So, in the spirit of jazz, I want it to be an improvised dialogue conversation where I actually don't know what I'm going to select. And sometimes I'll make executive decisions and select things to play. But sometimes Alan might look at something and be like, "What is this about? I'm curious about this." And I could be like, "Okay, let's go there," or maybe not go there. So we'll see how it goes. But it's totally open and interesting and fun. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me. Sounds
All
like a
right.
fruitful conversation already.
All right. I'm going to share a screen now and we'll get into it. All right. Share sounds, optimize. Okay. Stereo high fidelity. All right. So you should be able to see my screen, correct?
I do.
Excellent. So this is my Bandcamp page, hailjuti.bandcamp.com. Uh, the name that I'm using currently for my music, the artistic name is Architect of Truth, which is a reference to an ancient Egyptian god, Jehuti, also known as Thoth, which is the Greification of the Kemetic word. And Jehuti has been quite an inspiration for me that I got my first tattoo recent, like for my 40th birthday of Jehuti, as you can all see.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyways, the way I organize my Bandcamp is actually more or less chronological. So starting with Space Chicks, that's my first album, which was um, done in 2000. So literally 25 years ago, and it's an electronic music album. And then we'll go through it one at a time and see what you're interested in checking out, and I can talk about the process. But you can see there's a lot of material um, over the years and very different styles and directions. Um, so let's start there with Space Chicks, and if you have any questions about any sort of meta questions for me about music, my background in music before we start listening to anything.
Great. Let's hear it.
So do you have any questions for me before we start?
No, none.
Okay.
I gotta hear some things.
All right. All
This
right.
is Space Chicks. This is from about 25 years ago.
Yeah, so this is the first music album I've ever produced. It says here I produced it with EJ. Um, I guess it was released 2001, but I guess started working on it in 2000.
Hmm.
And uh, beginning in electronic music, and I pretty much abandoned that specific approach right after this, but I think
Hmm.
I'm not ashamed of it as a beginning. All right. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
playing full tracks for everything just for the sake of time,
Hmm.
but this is kind of hardcore ravey. You can tell, like
Hmm.
the influence of the 90s a little
Hmm.
bit. But it's a concept album, as you can see from the title: Space Chicks, Planning for the Attack, First Invasion During the War, Final Victory, Enjoying Freedom. So I like that it's first time of putting together an album around the theme. Um, and it felt good as an accomplishment. But do you have any questions about that time or again what led to that moment?
Yeah, I was actually listening to it and um are you hearing this interference that I'm hearing?
No.
Okay, that's good. Um and it to me it's very reminiscent, even though it's contemporary, that there's a band called Tangerine Dream.
Hmm.
I believe they were German, maybe, and they were ahead of their time and when they were doing it. But I heard some hints of that, and I and clearly you're doing a lot of sampling, looping, and at that point you're probably doing
Yeah.
sequencing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
this is not composition. This is like probably the only album I made that's made up of loops.
uh-huh, that's cool. Yeah, year 2000. But dubstep hadn't been part of the vocabulary yet
No,
at that
no.
point. Yeah, because I hear that that drop in there. That's pretty. That's kind of
Yeah.
anticipating the next wave of electronic music that came like 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah, so when I would play this to my friends at the time, they didn't know what to make of it. They were like, "What
Mhm.
is this?" Like, in a way, it maybe felt too futuristic or something, and it is
Interesting.
because it's playing on. You can see the image here. It's like playing on this sort of what do you call campy
Yeah.
sci-fi futurism.
What do they call
Um,
it? Cthulhu or something. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways, that's kind of the
Yeah.
beginning. But if you notice the next one, and just to give you a little bit of background, in high school I was in two bands, mostly playing covers. My first instrument growing up since I was 5 was the keyboard, so that's one that's been the most consistent.
Mhm.
And but then over time, if you love music, you end up playing a lot of instruments, as you
Yes.
know very well. So I ended up actually being a drummer in high school, and I
Uh-huh.
was two bands as a drummer. And then I left one band, stayed with one, and we got rid of the vocalist. Who, listen to this. He asked us one time to tune our instruments to his voice, and that's when we were
Oh.
like, "You're fired." It was like he's like, "Can you tune your guitar and instruments to my voice?" And we are like, "You're fired." And so I took over the band. I became the band leader, and I took it from the direction of we were playing covers of this again. This is funny because this is Cairo, Egypt, but we're playing covers of Green Day,
Mm,
Pink Floyd,
mm.
The Police,
Wow.
things like that. And then I was
Mm,
like, I want to write my own music, and I
mhm,
took the band in that direction of like basically becoming a band leader, writing my songs, having them
mm,
play it and record it.
mm,
So we did that for a while after high school. And
mhm,
then after that, I just found it cumbersome, as a drummer, especially
mhm.
moving my drum set to the studio and back and forth with a van and that kind of stuff. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna just record at home,
Mhm.
and then invite artists, guest artists to record with me and things like that. So I became much more dedicated to recording and kind of improving my craft as a recording artist over the years. So that just
You.
gives you like an overview.
Mm,
Classical fragments, as you can see, second one here,
mhm.
um, 2002. This one is me experimenting with classical music. So, I went to the American University in Cairo. I studied theater and music, and pretty much classical music is a big influence on me, especially contemporary classical music, modern classical music, and that's really the thing that unifies everything that I do. In many ways, it doesn't make sense to people because a lot of my instrumentation is electronic, but I think and compose classically, and then I arrange it differently. But I tend to have like at least a live version of something and then an electronic version of something. But in any case, so I might play a couple from here just to give you a sense. This one is called Princess V. So at that point, as you can tell, I'm studying classical music and working with MIDI notation, music
Mhm.
sheets, and
Mhm.
basically I found that fascinating because I can control it at a much more minute detail. And so that whole album pretty much is experiments like that of
Mm.
ideas. You know. Um, any questions or thoughts here?
Yeah, it's a. When did you do that? What
This
year
is
was that?
2002.
2002. You really were able to manipulate that MIDI to have a dynamic control, and I can see how that was a big challenge in
Yeah.
2002. things are a
Absolutely.
little bit more streamlined these days to manipulate the texture and duration of notes and dynamics pretty
Yes.
easily. So I heard a lot of that. I like that particularly because you make use of like Mahler style basses in the
Hmm.
background.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's cool. And yeah, especially for 2002 when like what was your sound library? How did you get?
So for this was, yeah, I was using Cakewalk at the time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you're probably familiar
Mm-hmm.
with Cakewalk, and so I was using the MIDI feature of it, and
Mm-hmm.
so I also use Cakewalk for recording, but when you'll see some of the other stuff, recording like live instruments, but this is like the MIDI version. I love this again because the way I think about it, I think, do you know Rick Beato by any chance?
Yeah,
So
I've
he's
followed him a little bit. Yeah.
so he talks about music as time travel, and I really like that metaphor because when I listen to this, it's like a time capsule that I send myself from the past to the future or to
Mm-hmm.
the present.
Mm-hmm.
And if I listen to it and it still touches me on some level, then I know I've succeeded. And to me, it's more about that I captured an idea and an emotion, and whether the form itself is not perfect, because again, you're thinking of technological limitations of the time. That to me, I don't care about that as much because the idea is clear. So if I were to recreate it, it's right there, all the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so
Yeah. MIDI files forever,
forever.
basically.
But these are not
Yeah.
the, I'm not sure if I have the MIDI files for those. Those are like the wave versions of the MIDI files, which
Mm-hmm.
is not as
Mm-hmm.
good,
Mm-hmm.
but that's another thing. Are you curious
Yeah.
about anything else here, or shall we move to something else?
With that phase,
Yeah,
that era, I'm interested. I'm thinking like when you say modern classical composing, are you thinking mid-century, mid 20th century, like uh, John Cage and people like that, or
I think
Messiaen, or
two different
yeah,
periods. Like
yeah.
there's like the earlier period with Eric Satie and
Mm-hmm.
Stravinsky and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff, Anton Webern and all of that. But then
Mm-hmm.
there's the later period with Glass and Steve Reich and
Mm-hmm.
minimalism and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
direction. And so it's a mix, I think, of both.
Yeah.
I play something somewhere between minimalism and sometimes maximalism. Like sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
Frank Zappa is one of my favorite composers and he's a
Mm-hmm.
maximalist,
Mm-hmm.
but I also like Philip Glass, so it's kind of an interesting range for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, there was there was a golden period actually to transform the way people thought about uh, chamber music and symphony music and all that.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
move on because I think
Mm-hmm.
we're at a good pace. So, this is the first soundtrack that I did. It was for a short film. So this was kind of a big deal for me because I was asked to score this short film. This is 2002 as well. And at the time, I didn't have a keyboard I
Mm.
had a keyboard as a kid, then it got stolen. And my mom got really upset with me. So I didn't have a
Mm.
keyboard for a long time. And what I did is I borrowed instruments from friends. So you'll see later that I borrowed a really cheap Casio at some point, but I got really creative with it. I did a whole album with Casio keyboard. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, I love it actually. I love how it sounds. And
The
then
Casio is a very unique
I
tone, for
know
sure.
they
Yeah.
are. They're so appealing. And then this one I borrowed another keyboard from another friend to be able to record the soundtrack.
Mm.
So this is you get to hear my Arabic side a little bit.
Mm.
Um, so let me play I guess one of the main themes.
like that. Al Dik, was that the film?
Yeah, so Aldik means the rooster. It was
Mm,
about this guy who's like the son. He has sisters, and he's the one that was going to inherit everything, kind of a macho thing, and he's acting like a rooster. But then
mm,
he gets into trouble, and there's a
mm,
whole drama. But the whole soundtrack is fun, actually,
mm,
and it's all in that style, pretty much Arabic music.
mm,
But what I like actually about this experience is first time I did a soundtrack, and then it just opened the doors for me for I did a lot of film soundtracks and soundtracks for plays after that. Um, and I think what I also bring in my style, because I have a really good Arabic music is something that I grew up with, so it's like second nature to me. But I bring in also like a little bit of the Western influence that I studied in the sense of like, as you know, Arabic music tends to be rhythmic, much more rhythmic, and tends to be monophonic more than polyphonic. And Western music tend to be more harmonious, having a
mm,
bit less interesting rhythms than Arabic music, but more interesting harmonies. That's if we were to simplify. What I
mm,
try to do with my stuff, and I hope you can pick up on that, is try to bring in that mix between the Arabic rhythms with the Western harmonies.
mm,
So that's kind of like the whole soundtrack. I started experimenting with that idea, and it's something that I've done ever since basically to this moment. But it's
mm,
just becomes more subtle over time.
mm. It's funny because in the very beginning when you hear the Doombek playing, and
Hmm.
then I think you have a little refrain that comes in there. I forget the name of the composer for Kulthum.
Hmm.
What?
Muhammad Abdul Wahab.
No, it starts with a W. His last name. It's okay. There's so many. He was a very famous film composer in the 30s and 40s for Egyptian films.
Well, Abdul
Anyway,
Wahab. Wahab has
is that
W. Yeah, Muhammad
what?
Abdul Wahab
What?
was
Oh, yeah.
he's very
Thank
famous.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to hear Kulthum come in through there, and then I heard it. Then it changed a little bit where it was layering, and you had the
Right.
pads coming through, and
Right.
I thought it's interesting because when like I noticed that with the part where you had the melody there, um, that is a very synthesizer oriented sound as
Yeah.
opposed to like something that would be canned in a keyboard. Uh, were you experimenting with that, or is that
Yeah.
just one of
It was
the?
a synthesizer within the keyboard. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
There
got
wasn't a
it.
different synthesizer.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was again playing with the tools that I have, and I think this is like when I start multi-tracking and recording live as well. So it starts that trend. And what I guess what part of the frustration is for people in the US, they think I'm just like looping or DJing,
Mm.
but they don't
Mm.
understand how long it takes me to record every track
Yeah.
one by one and then mixing it and all that. And
Yeah.
so
You'll
you'll
have no
understand
idea.
when you hear this that it's multi-tracks and I'm playing everything myself.
And
So
you're playing the Doom too?
yeah,
Was that live? Live? Okay. Mm-hmm.
so again, it's a sample, but I'm playing it with pads.
Oh, really? All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing that you could get the pads to respond accordingly
yeah. So
because
that's what I was
sometimes
doing.
they get sticky. Yeah.
Sometimes it works,
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't. This is a good
Uh-huh.
example of it,
Yeah.
but that's again, if people are interested in that kind of music, that whole
Mm-hmm.
soundtrack is in this style.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Um, this is another short film that was. There are some projects that don't get finished, or I guess. So I did the soundtrack for this film. I acted in it as well.
Mm.
The film never released. Um, So it's one of those things. I don't really like the recording quality here, but just, again, for archival purposes, we'll check it out.
Mm. Yeah.
So there's that. This is Atman is a short film, so this is a soundtrack for a short film that I made, and this is my first short film. So I was very happy with that process because um, pretty much I did so many things. It's the first time I experienced insomnia in my life. Was
Hmm.
making this film. Just the day before, first day of shooting, and not being able to sleep.
Oh man.
Yeah, so um, let's see. Again, the quality is not necessarily that good, but I like the compositions. So let's see.
Makes me want to see the film.
Yeah, it's kind
Uh,
of a horror film actually. I don't know if you
oh,
could tell.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that other one sounded very much like a John Carpenter type of thing.
I
The
know.
the point.
The point was kind of also like a psychological thriller of sorts.
Ah, cool.
There's another one I want to play for you, but I can't tell because it says themes for. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna see which one it is. Okay, it's this one. I can imagine you playing this one.
Yeah.
That's one of my
I like.
favorites.
I love it. I love how you got those reeds sounding really
hmm
nice.
And again, since you are a composer and you when you hear it, I think an average person hears the quality of the recording,
Hmm,
but I think someone like you is able to
I don't
hear the
care.
composition, right?
Yeah, no,
So you
it's
understand because like for me, it's more about the idea, you know, if I
and even to me, the recording quality is something to it. I believe in
it's
that.
nostalgic.
Yeah, it sounds like I got. When is that from?
I know. So
No.
the only issue with so this is 2004. Back when I'm still working with Cakewalk, and again, I don't have like an audio interface at that point. So I'm using
Mm,
like a PC. Um, things are going directly into the
mm,
computer. There's a lot of loss, you know. So
mm-hmm,
you're gonna hear a difference in quality once I start. I actually got another computer for music production. I get an audio interface, and you're gonna hear like a difference.
mm.
I build a home studio in my in Cairo at
That's
some
great.
point. And that point is actually the next soundtrack. So that's the transition. You will hear the transition from this one to that one. So this one was, I would say this is the first mainstreaming of my music. I would say the first mainstream success. This is 2005. This is
Mm,
for a play called Al Mahrusa. Al Mahrusa is a reference to Egypt as it means the watched over. So it's like
mm,
watched over by God or something.
mm,
Fantastic play. And I did the soundtrack for the play. This was a play on a main stage production, that It was well attended. There were critical reviews and newspapers, so a
Hmm.
lot of people got to hear this music, and it was a big hit with people. Like this was first time I experienced like being a local celebrity of sorts. And it's Arabic music with my, quirky style as well. So I'll play the main theme. And again, if people are curious, the whole soundtrack is out there, reasonably priced for anyone to check out. So yeah, I was using Music XPC at the
Hmm.
time and Pro Tools. I switched from Cakewalk to Pro Tools. So you can hear the difference in quality already
Hmm.
in the recording. It's much richer and deeper.
Hmm.
And the picture here I want to talk about, this is Mahmoud Al-Lozi, who was the director of the play. And so it's to honor him because he passed away not long ago, and he was my professor, one of my professors at AUC.
Hmm.
Big influence. So he gave me a big break with this, asking me to score this play, which
Hmm.
led to other opportunities and was a big
Hmm.
thing for me in my career.
Hmm. Yeah, well,
Um, yeah,
I,
go ahead.
I oh, I just want to I want to point out something that you were saying, like um about people's nostalgia for a sound. And it's interesting because there's a lot of younger people who are creating um, electronic music and in the confines of their own home, basically. And I think they're reaching for what you had done in 2002 and 2020, 2003, to
Right,
get that sound and that aesthetic.
right,
Now I'm hearing a lot of things that are very they're getting back to the sort of the very seminal parts of the electronic uh, music movement after the millennium started.
right,
You
right.
know, there's a nostalgia for that.
Yeah, I mean, synthwave, retrowave has been like a big nostalgic thing, but I never thought in that sense because again, when I was doing it, it was contemporary, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
nostalgic from today's perspective, but
Mm-hmm.
I think if I still think it sounds contemporary to me in the sense that I like it as a composition and it still touches me on some
Oh
level.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's what matters to me.
There's a
Um,
really wonderful point in there where there's some syncopation that
mhm.
happens where you do some
Yep,
of the ornamentation. And that's a nice curve to listen to, because you're hearing this very metric thing,
right.
and then all of a sudden the syncopation comes in.
There's a
And,
syncopation. There's also like the dissonance from the strings, which I really
mm,
like as well. And that's
mm-hmm,
unusual for a little bit of Arabic music. So you can see a little bit of that modern classical
mm-hmm,
influence,
mm-hmm,
right? Um,
mm-hmm. I do hear it. I hear
and
it.
go
Uh,
ahead.
I'm just curious. Do you know about Nurse with Wound or Wendy Carlos?
Now you know about Wendy Carlos.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking about those two artists when I was hearing
The
that last
soundtrack
one.
for A Clockwork Orange was a big
Hmm.
influence on me. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's Wendy Carlos,
yeah,
right?
Wendy
Yeah.
Carlos, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's really great. I love hearing that.
Let me play another one from here that I have a friend of mine. He's now like a big music producer, um, and he's mostly a mixer, but he
Mm,
also does his own music and other things. And I was kind of like a mentor for him back then. And he went to do a study abroad, and he studied one of my compositions in music class, which is the
mm,
Epicus one. So he broke it down and reconstructed it to play it for class and on the guitar.
mm,
And then now I'm watching him. He's very, very successful. He lives in Switzerland, so I'm very, very happy for him. His name is Eddie. So
mm,
this is dedicated to him because I know this is his favorite from the soundtrack.
mm.
I really like the counterpoint for this one. Like these are
Lovely.
the things
Yeah.
that that gives me enjoying it for years later.
Yeah, there's a lot of counterpoint going on there too, and harmonic, uh, complementary counterpoint with the harmonies. That's
Right.
great.
Because I think most people hear the melody, but I'm always interested in what's behind I like
Hmm.
all obviously good melodies and
Yeah.
I try to do good melodies, but I also want to make an interesting structure around the melody
Well,
harmonically, but also rhythmically.
I like, there were some. things that you're doing that you make really good use of, like as chromatic runs to get back to the resolve to where you need to go. That's,
Hmm.
it seems so obvious or simple, but sometimes all you need is a chromatic phrase just to
Right.
let people feel that tension and
Hmm.
release. I like that. Yeah, to make the movement. And also, interestingly enough, I know this is probably not what the patch was, but it's interesting that you found a, like, it sounds either like the lower strings on a harp or a bass, but it sounds interesting like an oud at
Right.
when it's mixed in. That's very clever. I kind of
It
heard
might
it
have
that
been
way.
a ode actually.
An actual oud.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
For the bass part, the rhythmic
Hmm.
bass part, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's something I do a lot is like maintain that, the Arabic rhythm, but like with bass, not necessarily with drums necessarily, so I play around
hmm
that.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's very, yeah, and I love how you brought those pan pipes into the B section.
yeah.
It's different, just so how and they're very crisp, like whatever sample you're using was very
Yeah,
crisp.
sometimes I
Yeah.
really like high pitched instruments, like super high, and for some people they don't really like that, but there does something in terms of like the clarity of the melodic
Mm-hmm.
line that I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes need that to stress this phrase.
It's a beautiful choice, really.
Thank you. So there's another soundtrack. You can see I did a lot of soundtracks. This is for a play called The Way of the Family, which ended up not happening, but I did the soundtrack. I was working on it for a long time, and this is a collaboration with a good friend of mine, Mohammed al So I want to give him credit. He was my neighbor. We went to school together, and our relationship was very amazing because he lived not far from me. He could walk over. And basically, I would show him what I'm working on, and he would listen, give me feedback. Sometimes we would collaborate on things. So we were in the high school band. So that's the background. He was the keyboardist back then. I switched at that point from drums to bass and vocals in order to focus more on songwriting. But then, I went back to keys to for the composition and arrangements in my solo stuff. And anyways, this is a collaboration album that we did together. And I think it's the only album where I collaborated with someone else completely. So I really like that. Um, each title is a title of a character in the play. So what we did is pretty much wrote a composition to capture what that character is like. So I want to pick at least two so you can see the difference. Um, let's see. So that's Sisa.
Mm.
And then just so you can see how different this character is. This is Esper.
Mm.
That last
That's
part always feels Christmassy to me. It's
I
like
was just gonna.
Santa Claus.
I, I did notice that. It was cracking me up
Yeah,
just because I know that's not your intention, but
nah, not
it's
at all. But it has that
uh,
feeling.
and I do appreciate and I say this with great affection to say that there's some delightfully deranged arrangement, especially with the choice of instrumentation and
Yeah,
like I was thinking, wow, this sounds like a baroque breakbeat rave up,
I know.
especially if there's
And
that
how do you
second theme.
describe that to someone? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially there's that second refrain that sounds like you're asking somebody to join in
Right,
after the break.
right.
um anyway, that's beautiful. What was the character about?
I honestly don't remember anymore. This is
mm,
2006.
mm,
I had differences with the playwright and ended up
mm,
directing a different play, but
mm,
I like the soundtrack. So,
mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, same.
there's a character who's kind of like Lady of the Night. There's like her sound. There's someone who's um kind of like someone almost like a caveman character.
Hmm.
So there's all kinds of like feelings and experiences. But we had a lot of fun, me and Mohammed al-Basrawi working on this together. It's just delightful.
Mm,
And just hearing it, I can remember who did what and all of that.
mm,
Again,
mm,
just so the listeners remember, like everything you're hearing, these are all recorded from scratch, every single track, one by one, to build something like this. It has to be composed, then we record it, and no samples, no loops at this point. It's all original material. So even the drums and everything, I played
awesome.
myself. Yeah.
The other thought I had was going to ask you, have you had the uh, I would say pleasure, depends on who you are, of being able to like play granular synthesizers and modular synthesizers, the actual ones.
The modular ones.
Yeah.
Um, no, I haven't really experimented with that, to be
Mm.
honest. Like I do have synthesizers,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not modular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I haven't played with where you're like,
Mm-hmm.
using cables and things like that. And
Mm-hmm. Like an ARP 2600.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I love those sounds, but I haven't experimented with them myself. Like,
Have you have
yeah,
you had a Moog or a mini Moog? Have you been?
yeah,
Yeah.
stuff
Uh-huh.
like that I've done. Yeah,
Mm.
I have those kinds of synth. I have like a Korgs, I have Moog,
Hmm.
those kinds of keyboards. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can hear that. I could just imagine you as one of those kinds of keyboard players with eight different keyboards
I
in front
have a
of
lot
them.
of keyboards. Yeah. I mean, I don't have space anymore, so I can't buy anything, but I have a bunch of guitars, I have keyboards, and I'm glad I
Hmm.
got rid of drumming because that was taking most space. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
glad
cumbersome.
yeah, I got over that. Uh, but So this is a play called The Illusion, which again a main stage production. I acted in it and I did the soundtrack. Probably my most ambitious project at the time. So this is 2006. This is a play that was done. And the reason why this is really interesting, it's a Tony Kushner play that's based on an old French play. And in order to do research for the soundtrack, because it's I believe it was like Renaissance era France.
Mm, mm,
So I went back to actually study the compositions of the time and pretty much composed in that style. But
mm,
again, given who I am, I don't limit myself. Like I'm not as strict because I'm composing in 2006. I'm like I studied it, I did my research, but I'm still gonna do my crazy instrumentation if I want to. So
mhm.
so that's still there. But listen and you get what I'm saying. So this is the love theme, and this is my one of my favorite soundtracks. Like really proud of this one. Very sweet, right?
Yeah, and I'm hearing all the French dances and the
Right?
gavottes and the sarabands and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So are you getting a
Yeah.
sense of my style? Like it's hard to describe because it's all over the
Mhm.
place.
Yeah. No,
But
no, it's
but are you
elegant.
getting a
Yeah,
spirit of the composer in any of this? Because again, you're an
I think so.
outside.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. It's very interesting to me. There's lots to ask, but there's some complexity going on across each of these eras.
Yeah, it keeps getting more
So,
complex, I think, over time. That's what happens. Look at this one. This one is Commedia dell'arte,
mhm.
which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So again, capturing that vibe, I had so much fun doing this. It's the same theme, but variation.
Mm. You had me
So
fooled.
so
You had me fooled there for a second. I thought you were going to actually resolve that on a minor second, but you didn't.
and of course I had to use synthesizers. I couldn't
Oh,
I couldn't be a purist about
great!
it, but
That's
I
great.
thought bringing it to the contemporary, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
going to the past, studying the past, bringing that style of composition, but also making it contemporary.
I feel like there was a point where you're almost respectively or respectively poking fun at the Baroque stylings with the when you finally introduced the little chamber strings with their little response to that one melody.
Hmm.
As they're like boop 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 beep. You're like, okay, it's Baroque, right?
Right, right. Because like I studied all that stuff, but again, I want to make it my own, right? So
you
there's like
also you're
irony,
also
but there's sincerity at the same time. It's
oh
mixed.
yeah, I hear
Yeah.
it. And you know, from a string player's perspective, it's funny to hear that's like, oh, you really made those they really had to do that pizzicato. That's
Right.
that's a lot to ask for a string section to do that much pizzicato.
Almost too much. Um, okay. Any questions so far before we move on?
I do admire this at this point what you're doing with your instrumentation. Like I'm hearing bassoons
Right.
and horn parts and oboes and maybe a
Hmm.
harp and the
Yes,
two different
absolutely.
strings and marimbas, but not just you have marimbas and vibraphone.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
that's a quality orchestra right there.
Yeah, and that's honestly the maximalism aspect I was telling you about. Like, I could
Hmm.
be sometimes minimalist melodically, right? But maximalist in my instrumentation. And
Hmm.
that's why I was telling you, like, I'm influenced by Zappa and Glass in a sense. It's like,
Hmm.
whereas Glass would keep it minimalist even with the arrangement and instrumentation, I try to do it more like Zappa for the instrumentation and
Yeah,
see if I can use as many instruments as possible.
and he had great inspiration from Edgar Varese.
Edgar exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
which talk about maximalism. Uh,
exactly, and he's great.
yeah.
So this is another soundtrack. This was for actually a feature film in Egypt that was a big hit. So the first time in my life, I'm, in the taxi. I didn't drive in Cairo, so I took taxis all the time or public transportation. I'm on the bridge, getting back from AUC or something, and then I see a big poster banner from the bridge, 6th of October Bridge, which is like a major bridge in
Mhm.
Cairo, and it has my name and the poster of the movie. So it's like kind of a big break.
Wow.
The only problem, so this is 2006, is that they didn't fully use my soundtrack.
Mm.
So I worked on this for probably half a year,
Mm.
delivered everything on time, went to the screening for the film, and then realized that they hired a different composer behind my
Oh.
back and basically used both, which I which I found upsetting. And they put my name on the poster only, not the other composer's name. So it was very frustrating because I had this
Wow.
crazy incident with someone who, a paranoid individual. I was like in a cafe and he thought that I stole his music. And I told him, well, actually, all the stuff you think I stole is the other guy. It's not me. So you gotta talk to him. But, he was very upset with me for some reason.
Oh my goodness.
So a
Oh,
lot of this
that's
stuff.
a great story.
Yeah, so it's a big soundtrack. I really like this one. It just has like a sad story, I guess,
Mm.
because of the betrayal.
Mm.
I got paid. That's the most important thing. I got paid well,
Hmm.
but I
Hmm.
felt betrayed by the director for sure, and I was
Mm.
very upset. Because
Mm.
I put a lot into it. Then, if this was released the way I envisioned, it would have revolutionized soundtracks in Egypt because what I was trying to do again is I got really creative with, again, bringing Arabic music, but making it a bit more experimental with the instrumentation and the sounds.
Mm.
And he was afraid that the audience wouldn't be able to respond to it. So he hired the other guy to do like a traditional soundtrack.
Wow.
So I was,
Mm.
I was disappointed, but I'm proud at least of what you can see. Like it has 36 tracks. I mean, it's a feature film. I'll play a couple of themes from it. So this is the main theme. It's a bunch of kids, coming of age story, doing drugs, hashish, hanging out, getting into trouble, and then, that's pretty much it. That's the story.
Mm. Hmm.
To youth culture.
Hmm.
Well, you can
They
see
made a mistake.
how
Yeah,
experimental it sounds like,
yeah.
it's respecting the Arabic music form but putting it in a different kind of electronic context a little bit.
I very much heard that, and there was that interesting uh, uh, passing from one section to another where you have that rhythm of duck duck do duck duck duck,
Exactly.
but then you break it in half, I think.
Yes.
And I was
Yes.
like, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And a lot of themes and variation, interesting stuff. I'll play another one that's interesting as well.
Oh, also, I remarked this one had some different kinds of harmonizations that I hadn't heard before from
Hmm.
you, like half diminished chords, and
Hmm.
sounds like there was some, sort of flat seven.
I'm getting jazzier
Yeah,
over time, you
yeah.
know?
I could hear that there. It's
Yeah,
it's it's a different feel. Like your stuff moves harmonically a lot anyway, but to hear those types of chord extensions, it's
true,
really cool.
true, true.
Yeah.
This one is called Al-Mutadayin. I'll play a part of it. It means the religious person, but in parentheses, death of a friend.
Mm. That's also for that film.
So it's that film. It's
That's
basically
yeah.
one of the group, one of the friends, he dies, and
Mm,
it's like, the tragedy of that. So
mm.
capturing that.
Um,
Um, I like
wow.
tragic stuff, as you can tell.
Oh yeah.
Dramatic.
There was something really special about what I heard just now,
Hmm.
and that is how you were able to match the vibrato and like when you sometimes the flute would have this vibrato, but then you'd
Hmm.
bring some other instrument to match that
Hmm.
vibrato with their that expression. And I
Hmm.
can't remember where that was. And then the same thing happened where you have like some delay
Hmm.
sounding on the doumbek, but that matches, it sort of mirrors over to the delay that the kanun or whatever is
Hmm.
playing. I don't know if that was purposeful, but it's really cool
Hmm. Hmm.
that you matched all that audio to accentuate those melodies. It's
Thank you. Yeah,
interesting.
this is all the. So at that point, finally I have my own um recording studio. Everything is set. I have my instruments, so I wasn't borrowing stuff, and I was working professionally, being hired mostly, as you can see, doing soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, so that's
They
that.
they definitely uh, miscalculated on having the
Yeah,
soundtrack the way they did it. If it
it was
wasn't
very
yours,
upsetting for me because
yeah.
I think I had a lot going on, and I put a lot into it, and I felt stabbed in the back.
Mm,
And my recovery from that, there were
mm,
a couple of things. Was one, because it felt like a failure for them not to use it
mm,
fully.
mm,
So I couldn't break into the film, the cinema mainstream. Like I was able to do well with theater,
mm-hmm,
and that's how I got the gig. It was they went to play, and then they were like, okay. But the first meeting already was kind of a red flag because when I met the director, he's like, I asked him, "What do you want for the sound?" And he's like, "I want something like that's like tango and like this and that." And I'm like, the way he was describing things didn't make any sense to me
mm.
because, I knew the story and I'm like, tango? Unrelated completely, you know what I mean? But I was like,
Hmm.
a poker face listening to him. But I got paid. That's the most important part.
Because you had to do timestamps on everything and
It's all,
time
yeah, it
coding,
was
yeah.
crazy time coding and everything.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's a lot of effort, a lot of time. Um, so it's disappointing, but then the recovery were two things was I applied for a grant to do one of my plays and I received this grant. It was a lot of money. So I was able to do my play and then I met the love of my life, who was my current
Oh.
wife. So, you know, one bad thing followed by two good things.
In Egypt?
Yeah, this was in Egypt. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So this is another play I acted in, played like a colonizer. I had fun doing that. Like a British colonizer type.
Mm.
And I did the soundtrack as well,
Mm.
which is I think a lot of fun. Let me see if I can give you, and these are short, which is good. fun little one.
Yeah. What was that? A koto or shamisen or
Yes,
a
it's a
pipa
koto.
or something?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. Um, Very good. You have a good ear for instrumentation. Let me see what else I want to play for you from here.
Mm.
All right, so that gives you a sense of Cloud Nine. It was a lot of fun.
Mm.
It was a friend of mine that directed it, and it was very funny. Uh,
So,
yeah,
sounds like yeah, it has a light feeling to it. And
yeah,
I can't, it's always a tricky thing to put in a 1980s drum pad synthesizer. And that was very appropriate. It's great. It's
yeah,
great,
yeah. No, it's funny
because
because it's making fun of colonialism, and
yeah,
so that's what we're
I think
doing.
I got it. And
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, because that sound, it's very specific to a specific era.
Yes.
Disco music in the 1970s, they always had that signal drum pad.
Right. Right.
Woo, yeah,
Right.
Diana Ross, whoever. But I like that. And
Yeah, and I love the history of electronic music, which a lot of people
yeah.
don't know. You probably know this because you've studied music, but history of electronic music is the history of classical music,
Oh, without question.
right?
Without
And
question.
the
Yeah.
separation is very artificial. And so
Yeah.
I always try to have that dialogue because I know that they're one and the same.
Hmm.
So there is no separation.
And I really appreciate how this gives a lot of meaning and complexity to a piece when you cross the bar. You do a lot of your rhythms.
Hmm.
In the past couple selections you played, I like how
Yep.
that some of the arpeggios or the melodies will cross the bar against a really solid meter.
Yes.
Yeah,
I change time signatures and then I do a lot of polyrhythms and stuff like that.
mm-hmm,
Because my background, this is the thing about also Zappa, it's my background like him is drumming. So
mm-hmm,
I have this drumming background that's informing how I'm composing on the piano, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's
That's
how it
great.
usually works, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first feature film, Cryptic Reflections, and so uh, I did the soundtrack in collaboration with different artists, but I put together my pieces only, so these are all mine alone. Um, let's see. Um, there's a lot of interesting ones here. There's one that I played for actually one of my music professors. I did an interview with him, Ashraf Fouad. He's a composer as well, and he went to Juilliard, and I played for him ENA, which is Egyptian National Anthem.
Mm,
Uh, w- I don't know if you've ever heard it before, but it's
mm,
composed by Said Darwish, who's one of the most important Egyptian
mm,
composers.
mm,
And what I did with it, it really is a great example of my approach to composition.
mm,
Uh, the original one, that has the melody and it's monophonic and it doesn't have harmony. So what I did is basically took the melody, added the harmony that I'm hearing in my head, and then twisted the melody and turned it into something else.
mm,
So when he
mm.
listened to it, he was like, "Oh my God, he was really impressed with." So anyways, something for you to check out if I don't play it today.
You basically
Um,
reharmonized and redid the melody for the entire thing.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, you've never heard the Egyptian national anthem, right?
I may have. It's not something I
It'd be
know, but
actually
yeah.
interesting to play the melody and then show you how I did
Mm,
it because
mhm,
again, for music theory purposes, I think it would be an
mm.
interesting exercise. I'm just gonna pull it up quickly. Egyptian national anthem. I'll just play like um okay, let's do this one. Is it coming through?
Yeah.
So that's the complete melody.
Wow.
Uh
Sign me up.
it's a good one. But this is not the
It's very
not
patriotic.
very
But
patriotic, but when
yeah.
he wrote it in 1920, different context completely. Now
Yes.
they're reappropriating it for the
Oh,
contemporary time.
no,
But
it's
this is
that's actually a beautiful anthem. When the vocals
I
come
like it.
in,
Yeah,
you don't hear an anthem that even if it's from a place where like they have microtonality in their
right,
culture, they always make these generic sounding
right.
anthems that sound like every other one, you
No, I
know?
like this one. And of course in
Yeah.
school I had to sing it every day,
Mm.
you know.
Hmm.
So let's see if this is the original one, just so you can
Sayed
Said Darwish. By the way, my YouTube
Darush.
channel is actually Said Darwish, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
dedicated to him. Yeah. So this is actually a good
Mm.
point to kind of really spend some time on this. That's not the original one. Let's see.
Mm.
Sometimes it's hard to track these things
Yeah,
down.
YouTube is tough
Um,
sometimes these days
yeah,
because there's so much.
because it's a 1920
Wow.
recording, so there's more like this. This is the original flag, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now you're curious about my version? Because I think you captured the melody in your head, right?
Yeah, and hearing that just
Blady,
now is very
blady,
interesting too,
blady, let
because
me
they're not
hold
playing a
thee.
violin there; they're playing something else.
Yeah,
In that
that's
this
true.
one, the traditional
Yep,
two
that's true.
stringed instrument. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Uh,
It was in a sense simpler, and
mm,
but it's his melody that he
hmm.
composes. So
This is just forgive my sense of time. This is right before Nasser.
so
That's
1920
it.
and it's long before Nasser because Nasser
Okay.
comes in the 50s.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is 30
Hmm.
years before. So this
I
is
see.
when Egypt was a kingdom. It's
Hmm.
called the Kingdom of Egypt. And
Hmm.
then when Nasser becomes president, becomes a republic pretty much.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
they use that anthem. It's an interesting anthem because it has been used across different iterations of the Egyptian state, like
Mm.
different politics, different changes, but
Mm.
somehow this anthem has survived.
Mm. Interesting.
So it
So,
means something different in every context, you know? It doesn't
mm.
mean exactly the same thing.
Mm.
But just out of curiosity, I'll play this for you so you can
Hmm.
hear what I did to it, the
Hmm.
mutation. So that's the complete
Yeah.
melody. So you can see I added harmony and of course counterpoint and extra things that weren't obviously there. But
Mm. Yeah.
that shows you
No,
how I
that's.
hear it in my head, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, most people hear it in the simple melodic version, but that's how it sounds like to me inside my mind.
Yeah, I love it. And it's not a strange arrangement.
Yeah.
It's just it's the reharmonization is really clever because it doesn't give that oomph feeling that that anthems always need to have, that
Yeah.
driving, you know. Mm, mm, mm,
Well,
mm,
it's not
mm,
nationalistic. It's in a way capturing what I think is the sweet aspect of the melody,
mm, mm,
as opposed to like how you turn something, a sweet melody, into something nationalistic to capture
mm,
the hearts and minds of population. For me, it's more like how does it speak to me as an individual, as a singular subject,
mm,
and you know. So in a way, I'm saying something about against nationalism and more something about the individual experience,
yeah.
right?
Hmm. Yeah. No, I did hear that for sure. And it's very clever also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's, there's a lot there, but I don't know how much time you have, so I want to
I'm
be
good.
also
I'm good.
mindful.
I'm good.
Um, so Om is my first album. You notice a lot of soundtracks, quite a departure from Space Chicks, completely different direction. But this is like the first album that's like of songs.
Mm,
So basically these are songs I've been working on as I'm doing all these soundtracks, and then I collected them all. There are also like uh instrumental tracks there, but there's a lot of songs, so you get to hear
mm,
my voice actually for the first time. I don't think
mm.
you heard me sing, so let me think of something I can play for you.
And what's the name of this
um
album?
Ohm.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
So you can see it's a pretty ambitious album. It has 32 tracks,
Mm,
and I kind of describe a little bit what I was doing. So I'll play Greek Democracy.
mm.
What's the song? And maybe I'll play another instrumental. There's a lot there. If there's something that stands out to you, let me know.
The title already is really interesting
This is an
considering.
interesting one. So you got to hear me. Also, I don't think you heard me on guitar so far. So you're gonna hear me on
Mm,
guitar. You're gonna hear me on vocals, and the rest, the keys, all of that's it's the same.
mm.
Take a right looking left, I'm a goddamn communist. Saying right, doing wrong. I'm a messed up hypocrite. Looking down on all of them. I'm the most disgusting motherfucking racist. Classicist. I am what I fear most. That's why I hate you. I don't like what I say, but still, I don't believe in censorship. I'm pro this, anti that. Another fucking fucked up terrorist. I believe in my beliefs. Does that make me fundamentalist? I love and respect her, but I'm only like the rest of them. I look around me, I see war, and I think of Greek democracy. I don't believe in having ego, but sometimes I believe in me. I look around me, I see war, and I think of Greek democracy. I don't believe in having ego, but sometimes I believe in me.
That's some good recording technique there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of
Nice.
like mono style, like the Be early Beatles stuff,
And I like the
right,
spectral
left, yeah,
oral location stuff where it
right.
surrounds you. It's good.
It's a really ambitious album. I think it's honestly it's really it's full of cool songs, and we don't have
Hmm.
time to listen to a lot of them. But tell me if there's something that stands out to you, and maybe it could be interesting.
Oh, you mean from the titles?
Yeah, yeah, because there's so
That's.
much, it's
Let me see if I can make it
do you want to
bigger.
do another song or an instrumental, let's say?
It's special to be able to hear vocals
Boys, yeah.
and
Um, I'll play this one because it was a hit for the ladies. Uh,
okay.
so it has like a nice memory. Like I did this Hey Girl song, and when I would play it, uh, it was a nice magnet, let me say. I'm trying to be polite, but you know what I mean.
Hey girl, I never told you how I feel, I never showed you how it feels. close to you, just to touch your skin and to smell your breath and to hear your heart next to mine and to sense your lips onto mine and to kiss and kiss and to kiss and kiss, to kiss and kiss and to kiss you, girl, and to kiss you, girl, to kiss you, girl, to kiss you, girl, and to kiss you, girl.
This was pretty popular.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have to ask the question though, because
Okay.
it sounds so heartfelt and
Yes.
it's a great sentiment that we've all had.
Yes.
But is your tongue firmly implanted in your cheek at this, or are you serious about the sentiment?
It's a good question. I think it's both at the same time, to be
Okay.
honest.
All
Yeah.
right.
Because
Because
like
it
it's
sounds
real,
like
it's real, but it's playful at the same time.
yeah. Okay.
But I'm a romantic, but I'm
Of
also,
course.
a surrealist and
Yeah.
an absurdist, so it's like all of the above.
And is that sounds like a character of you?
Yeah, so one of the things, you remember Eddie, my friend who's in Switzerland, like he's pretty much like if there's a scholar of my music out there, it's that guy. But
Mm.
he tells me that when I sing, I play characters. So if
That's
you
what it sounds
hear,
like to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
because Greek democracy and Hegel is like not the same person. But it's
Right.
literally every song where I'm singing, I channel a character, and then I'm not able to recreate it, honestly. So
Oh, it's a
if
one-time thing.
it's a one-time thing because I can sing it. I obviously know the melody. I wrote it and everything,
Sure.
but I can't capture that character exactly the same way
Hmm.
because it's like a feeling for that day in that recording moment. I've
Hmm.
tried it because I tried it more recently. Like I have these are recordings between 2004 and 2009, that
Hmm.
range. So I've
Hmm.
had experience more recently. Let's say I recorded something 5 years ago and the vocals are not high quality
Oh,
but the
interesting.
performance is good, right? And then I'm
Mm.
like, okay, I'm gonna recreate it, but with better quality. And then I can
Mm.
never capture the same character I did 5 years ago. So then I'm like,
Very
I'm gonna use
interesting.
I'm gonna use the one from 5 years ago because no matter what, I can't redo it.
I could see that being a very strange hit for a boy band, that last one.
Yeah, I don't know because it's so weird too, like the way it's done. But it does have the weird thing about my stuff is like it does have a catchy aspect to it, but
Mhm.
it's always framed within a weird world, right? That's how I would
Mhm.
put it because
Yeah, that
yeah,
sounds
it is
very accurate to me. Yeah.
it's catchy and I'm aware of that, like the transitions and all the melodies and things, but it's a strange world at the same time.
And you're really using that oscillation. I love all that wobbly portamento stuff that you're doing
Yeah,
in that
I'm kind
last
of
thing there.
ruining the drums because I didn't like how they sounded normally, so I'm like added a lot of filters to them. But I
Yeah.
do have another version with normal drums.
Mm.
I was like debating whether which one to put. I go back and forth.
And
Um,
you seem to be always hinting at a drop
yeah,
at some
yeah,
point. Like there's a
right,
drop, but it's not a way drop, if you know what
right,
I
right,
mean, from
right.
dubstep, like yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
feel that.
I think when you hear it, it doesn't really translate on Zoom. But if you hear it, let's say in my home studio here,
Mm,
it's much a richer sound for the
mm,
the strings and the sort of the bassy elements, which doesn't
hmm.
really. get captured with streaming, I think.
Yeah. Also with
Again,
these the kind of headphones and stuff. Yeah.
there's so much here that I like. Tunis of Fayum is one that I really like if you want to kind of get into more stranger territory. So let me show you. This is a place in Egypt, just so
Tunis
you,
El
yeah, so Al Fayum is a city.
Fayoum.
It's an oasis,
Mm.
and it's like half an hour, 45 minutes from Cairo,
Mm.
and that's what it looks like. It has like a big lake,
Mm.
and because it's an oasis, it's full of trees, and
Wow.
people grow dates there. There's a big artistic community
Mm.
uh, of artists doing ceramics and painting, and
Mm.
that's an example like of the some of the ceramics. So
Wow.
I would spend time there, and so I wrote a composition inspired by the place to
Mm.
kind of capture the feeling of being there for me,
Mm.
which I really like. For most
Mm.
people, they wouldn't get it, but it means a lot to me. So. So yeah, you hear me on guitar there.
I hear that, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
I love to hear that, especially because it's not often that you can hear unaffected guitar
Mm,
recorded. You're obviously just keeping it, well, in this case, it's a close mic to the guitar.
yes,
But I like how in the previous, maybe the one before, you mixed those two with a guitar that had a mic placement that was farther away. So it
yes.
seemed like it was in the distance. That's a really great layering technique. And I actually
Hmm.
like the interplay. You have that sort of round between the guitars on this, the acoustic, the steel string guitars. They're playing
Hmm.
motifs of each other that like
Yes.
harmonized and counterpoint. Sounds a
So
little bit
it's
like Brian Wilson would have come up with something like that.
yeah, and I like him a lot. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird, and I think uh, it's hard to describe why I like it, but I feel it really captures because music is amazing in capturing. I feel like soul or spirit, if I
Mm-hmm.
had to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
like this is in a sense part of who I am. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird and it's like an epic journey, and that's something I really like
Mm-hmm.
also about compositional style. I don't like I do themes and variations, but I don't think in terms of a cycle. You
Mm-hmm.
notice that I tend to think in terms of a journey, like an epic
Mm-hmm.
journey. So it
Mm-hmm.
starts somewhere, it ends somewhere else, and there's rarely a return to the beginning, if you
Mm-hmm.
notice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a logic to the structure and the movement. Um, that's kind of again captures space and captures an
Mm-hmm.
experience of place and time because
Mm-hmm.
ultimately you're in a place, you're moving and you meet people and I'm capturing a journey. And I like
Yeah.
what I do with the vocals too, like just
Mm-hmm.
experimenting with different vocal ranges and you
Mm-hmm.
probably heard the stuff in the background with the reverb and
The octave,
scream.
the octaver
Right.
harmonizer on your voice, two
And
octaves
there's that
higher.
too. Yeah, there's that too. Like the chipmunk.
That was a
Um,
really nice audio exercise though, because like you stuck in one time, you put in a reverse cymbal crash, just once.
right.
You, it's very
And
effective.
And I
Like
liked it because it sounded almost like brass. Like when I did use my voice and then pitched it up and also harmonized it, and it just sounded almost like sax or something like that.
uh-huh, yeah, yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it became an instrument, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's free form and
Mm-hmm.
just playing with using the voice as an instrument and playing with that and being free with it. And I like that. I think for most people it's too experimental probably, but this is like one of my
I
favorites.
guess. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the elemental human instrument is the voice. You
Yeah.
know.
But this
So,
is as you can tell it's like full of gems. So I would highly recommend probably
cool.
it's Home is we could probably
Mm-hmm.
spend a whole session just on that one.
The syllable of the universe or something like that.
But that
Yeah.
was my first album of like songs, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So it's kind of a big deal. Um, I'm skipping the some of the live recordings. So this was I had a duo band called the Beethovens, spelled like this, like the Beatles and Beethoven, right? A mix
Mm-hmm.
between the two. And then we played a show in Alexandria at the Garage Theater. So I have a
Mm-hmm.
recording of that. Um, so Om is my last album in Egypt, and then I immigrated to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And then I live in New Jersey at first, but then I moved to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I formed this project called Spidey and the Thunderstorm in Chicago. I was
Mm-hmm.
in Hyde Park, Southside Chicago.
I'm
And then,
familiar. I spent a lot of time in Chicago from when I
so this
was.
was me and Daniel were part
Mm-hmm.
of this project. And so this was a performance that we did at the Hyde Park Neighborhood Club. Um, 23 minutes performance like that we did. And then I did a show. I'm kind of skipping over the live shows. This was a show that I did uh, for this experimental space in Hyde Park where they
Mm-hmm.
had plants and seedlings, and I did like a concert for the plants.
Mm-hmm.
So I call it Music for
Mm-hmm.
Plants live in Hyde Park.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just playing for the plants.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Did you go to University of Chicago?
I went to Governor State University.
Governor State. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
University Park, Illinois.
I know about it. I went to a school that was part of that chain called Northeastern Illinois University.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I went. I went to music school there back
Nice.
in the 1990s, 1980s.
Yeah, so I had a great time honestly in Chicago. I loved it.
Hmm.
Um, this was the soundtrack for Alchemy in Hyde Park, which is my second feature, which is currently streaming on Tubi, in case you're interested.
Hmm.
Sand and Foam is a collaboration I did with an Egyptian artist who's based in the US. What we did is collaborated online. So that's kind of like the first time I collaborate online with someone. And basically, um, I picked a poem by Khalil Gibran. That's Khalil Gibran right here.
Hmm.
And it's from a book called Sand and Foam. And pretty much I sang and he did the music. So I was a vocalist on this one. So that's Sand and Foam. Spidey and the Thunderstorm is my second album in terms of like album of songs and stuff. And this was during the Chicago era. And this is probably my most experimental album, to be honest. Like just to give you a taste of it. Um, I was experimenting a lot with noise at this point. Um, it has a lot of songs and instrumentals, but so I'll give you a range of what it's like. This is the one called Transition. I really like this album. It's full of harsh noise like that, which is not for everyone, but I was really enjoying the process.
I hear a lot of that in some recorded music these days.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So let me show you some of the other stuff. This was a track called "Fuck You!" exclamation point, and this is a piano piece. It really captures my kind of technique as a pianist, and very much minimalist, but much more aggressive, I would say, than Phil Glass. I
A
really
lot of
like
time
this piece.
signatures.
Yeah, odd time signature.
Three. I heard 3, 5, 7.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's all over the place, but
Okay.
again, it's like this really captures my technique as a pianist. Like this is how I play and how I think in a way. But it's very raw, and I like that about it. Interesting references. You know Solveig's song?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that composition?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of like, so this is Edvard Grieg, right?
Yes.
One of my favorite compositions. So what I was doing to is trying to pay tribute to compositions that really influenced me. So you can see how I
Mhm.
interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
on and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
another one that you can see here as well is Gymnopédie number
Oh
one,
yeah. Sati.
which of course Eric Satie. The way I heard it as reggae for some reason.
Mm.
There's
Mm.
that.
Yeah. Make use of that
Winter in Chicago.
slap back echo
Yes.
to create the rhythm. That's good.
Um, that's a cool song. I'll play like short part of it. It's called I'm Bored.
Mm.
Je sais pas quoi quand t'es content. Je ne sais pas quoi faire quand t'es content.
Mm.
I really like this one. And what gets me every time about it is the overtones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, It's just it gets me every time. Like there's something captivating about that.
Hmm.
Um, so
There's something very. I hear that. It kind of brings me back to a time where a good colleague of mine was helping me get acquainted with electronic music. This is maybe in the early '80s, and who know Connie Plank? Do you know who that is?
no,
Part
how do
of
you
a,
spell the first name?
I think it's Connie.
Okay,
Uh, Somehow it's associated with Tangerine Dream,
okay,
but I don't know that. But a lot of what I'm hearing in that last thing is reminiscent for me of that era where they were using all these um, synthesizers with wide open
yes,
voltage controlled oscillators and not
yes,
cutting them off and just letting them go like
yeah. So
yeah,
when
you
I
have a
did
lot
that,
of
it's it kind of like there's that's what I'm doing, and then a lot of these basically harmonies that weren't there are added on top just from the open, sound, and just that gets me every time.
mm-hmm,
It's like I'm almost like it's so seductive to me hearing that,
mm-hmm,
and it sounds
yeah,
way better again if you hear it directly with good speakers. It's
mm.
even more seductive.
And there's a lot of oral location
Yeah,
stuff that's
yeah.
going on.
And that's influenced pretty much by I don't know if you know the composer Lamont Young.
Oh yeah, sure.
So
Mm-hmm.
he's someone that also influenced me a lot in especially his Dream House, which he did with Marianne Azazila in New York.
Mm.
I've been
I'm not
so
familiar with that.
so he
Mm.
constructed the space called the Dream House. She did the light design, and her approach to light was kind of almost like composition as well. It's like
Mm-hmm.
design. And what he did is he set up pretty much you enter into the room. It has multiple rooms, but the main room doesn't have anything except four speakers, one in every corner, and each
Mm.
speaker is playing a different frequency. So basically, you're as a listener, depending where you are in the room, you're gonna hear something different based on the overtones and how all these frequencies are gonna meet inside your ears or in your body.
Phase cancellation.
Phase cancellation. So you can
Yeah.
sit down, lie on your back. Usually what I do is I lie on my back and just like it's like a sound bath. But
Mm-hmm.
for a normal person, because I took a friend of mine, it sounded like noise and it was disturbing. And he couldn't say, he was like, what is the point of this? For me, it's extremely relaxing. Like I can sleep and it's so that's the thing that Lamont Young influenced for there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I hope that
Very,
place is still
yeah.
open. Yeah, because it's worth checking out.
Mm-hmm.
The Dream House.
Mm-hmm. Where is it on the Lower East Side?
Um, yeah, I think it's near
Mm-hmm.
Tribeca.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So check it out if it's still around. It's definitely worth checking out because it's an
Mm.
amazing experience.
And they just keep it going.
It's on forever.
Wow,
So the whole
amazing.
experiment was that you can go any time of day
Mm.
and it just doesn't stop. It's just non-stop frequencies.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Love
it's
it.
it's
Love
amazing.
that.
Um, so yeah, Moondog was a soundtrack that I did for my dad's film.
Mm.
It's a feature film. My dad is a filmmaker,
Mm.
and this was in competition at the Dubai International Film Festival back in 2012.
Mm.
So this was kind of like a big deal.
Mm.
We went to Dubai and we got the royal treatment, and this was
Mm.
screened on a big screen with big audience and all of that. So that's the soundtrack from that. Let me see. I
Mm.
have songs and I have instrumentals. Do you have a preference?
Let's hear an instrumental
Okay.
since we heard a few vocals.
Let's see. Do you want to do so the instrumentals start from Moondog main theme number 7
Mm.
all the way to 12. Which one do you want to hear?
Oh man, I don't know.
There's Dorian, Lullaby, Rock
Let's hear
Ballad.
let's hear Dorian.
Okay. gives you a
that.
sense. Yeah. So that's from Moondog. Has some cool songs as well. Um,
And these tend are. Have you found that where these are placed in the narrative of the film, is there dialogue that's happening sometimes, or is it silence with people moving through a
yeah.
scene, or
So this film had, because I'm acting in it as well, it's
mm,
kind of like has a musical aspect.
mm,
So there are songs that I'm singing in the film,
mm,
you know. So that's why half of the songs are songs, half of the
mm-hmm,
tracks are songs, and the other half are sequences.
mm-hmm,
Uh, Many of them don't have dialogue, but actually, it's a good question because I did write more themes that I didn't include here,
mm,
that were more like background. Sometimes,
mm-hmm,
like my dad wanted like ambient stuff
mm-hmm,
that's not, because this, if you put this under dialogue, it's very hard to concentrate because it
mm-hmm.
requires attention, right?
Yeah.
But I have like more abstract ambient stuff that was used a lot, more for a feel. Uh,
Mm-hmm,
but I didn't
mm-hmm,
include them in this. I included somewhere else. Yeah, but
mm-hmm,
it's a great question.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Fried Fish and I love When I Was 16. Great songs in here. Um, let's see. The other thing that I'm really into is archiving. So,
Mm,
um, for example, like Jazzy Accordius is something jazzy that I played on the guitar that I recorded with a phone, and I
mm,
found it accidentally one day. So I was like, okay, I worked on it, cleaned it up, and then released it as like
mm,
a single track.
mm,
Um, so there's stuff like that. Um, let's see. And then Istimtaz, the first album I did when I moved to Santa Fe.
mm,
And you can see that's like the first one that kind of resonated with a lot of people in terms of like
got engagement. Mm-hmm,
engagement, yeah.
mm,
And that's because technically this was the first album that I released on Bandcamp. Everything that came before, I put it archivally after the fact. And then I
mm,
just put the date for it, just to have it all there. And what I did
mm-hmm,
is I mastered everything. That's from the Egypt period and previous periods, and you know.
mm.
But I'm really proud of this one. Let me think of something that would be fun. Frere Jacques, because what's the melody for that?
Right.
You
We
know
all
it,
know
right?
it. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone knows it. So same thing like the
Yeah.
Egyptian national anthem.
You
My take on Frere
reharmonized
Jacques.
it.
So tell me what you think.
Hmm. Wow.
So
Hmm.
that captures really much like my thinking, this theme
Hmm.
of revisiting a famous melody, but adding a lot of depth to it harmonically, creating counter melodies, but then also going crazy with the improvisation
Hmm.
inspired by the piece.
Yeah,
Um,
great. And that's a very tasteful way of using that tone wheel
mhm,
to do those massive glissandos like you
right,
do, but
right.
to get back to the tonality. I love that. It's great.
So, so I like that. Another big influence that we didn't talk about is like Nubian music.
Oh yeah.
Um, you're probably familiar with that. But
Mm-hmm.
Ahmed Munib is, I don't know if you've heard his music. He's one of
Mm-mm.
the
Mm-mm.
most important Nubian singer-songwriters from Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did in this case is I sampled part of a song of his that I really like. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Saddani Ya Sahbi, which means believe me, my friend. And then I worked around it and wrote a whole composition around the sample.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, this album called Istimta, which is Arabic for enjoyment or jouissance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll play a little bit of Munib.
Neat. I love that.
That's one of
That's
my
awesome.
favorites, and that's one of probably the most popular tracks people tell me from this album.
And you beat matched the rhythm
Yeah,
of the sample that you
and the
had.
bass. So I
Yeah.
basically because what I like about Nubian music versus like let's say traditional album music is it has more rhythmic and harmonic complexity,
Mm-hmm.
and it appeals to me more. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
always influenced by it throughout. So it's something that really appeals to me. So I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
that I was able to honor him
Mm-hmm.
that way. Then there's the horny cricket phase, which you know you've heard about.
I've seen it a
Um,
couple times. It's awesome.
yeah, so that's another popular album. There are two versions of it. There's the short version, which is the normal album, and there's the deluxe version, which is double the size. So these are all the compositions I was working on. So this is all like Santa Fe period
Mm-hmm.
music. Um, let's see. Mm, so there's a lot there. Probably one of my favorites here is CCCP. Um, this piece, what I did is I used a synthesizer from the 80s
Mm-hmm.
that was used in the Soviet Union.
Oh,
And I wrote the whole
interesting.
piece using that. So I like how it sounds. It sounds very dank, you know?
Uh,
And I think
ring
it's a very good,
modulators. Yeah.
yeah, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
melody too.
Yeah.
I'll stop here. So
Mm-hmm.
I really
Sounds
like
like.
this. Yeah, it really touches me, and it has a nostalgic feeling to it. And
Mhm.
the approach really in the Santa Fe period has been to kind of to streamline my stuff to
Mm.
make it more accessible. So you've noticed that probably.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's impressive what you do with very little on a table.
yeah, yeah. So at this point, in the US, I shifted from Pro Tools to Logic,
Hmm.
and
Good choice.
yeah, and then much more keyboard based and less guitar, like,
Hmm.
and then less songs overall and much more instrumental stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll try to go fast for the rest of it because we're almost, I want to kind of finish soon so I don't take too much of your time.
I'm
But the
good.
Kemet mixtape
This is great.
volumes, thank you. I really appreciate you being here. So I have Kemet mixtape volume 1, 2, 3, 4. So
Hmm.
believe it or not, these are basically recordings that I did in Egypt, mostly on Cakewalk,
Mm.
um, between let's say 2001 and 2006 or 7.
Mm.
So I basically what I did is mastered them and divided them based on this one is just a collection of songs. So you'll find some overlap with Ohm, for example, because a lot of these songs are on Ohm. But what I
Mm.
did is I kind of put only the songs together here, I think. Or maybe my favorites for this one, I'm not sure. But this one is the first installment featuring songs. And then the second one of the Kemet mixtape is instrumentals only. So these are all
Mm.
instrumentals from the Egypt period.
Mm.
Um, really good stuff. Like I'm Over You is one of my favorite compositions. I mean, there's so much to explore, it's so little
Mm.
time.
It's a lot.
Um,
Yeah.
Kemet mixtape volume 3. These are basically like an anthology of my soundtrack. Like instead of playing a full album, I selected pieces from different soundtracks and put them together to kind of make it easier. So it's kind of like
Mhm.
best of, or something like that. Uh,
Greatest hits.
greatest hits. And then volume 4 is basically really early demos and things like that. So these are like songs between 2002 and 2004. So really
Mm.
early stuff. I have a song about Palestine that I recreated
Mm.
actually recently.
Mm.
Um, there's a lot of stuff there, and you can even hear um, my band, my high school band in here as well,
Oh,
for
really?
people who are interested. Yeah, yeah. So I have that. Remember my friend Muhammad Al-Batrawi, my neighbor,
Hmm.
we did this in collaboration.
Mm.
It's a beautiful piece that I like. It's called Comic Tragedy. So this is
Mm.
again very early stuff, but what I like about it is like it stands the test of time. I'm listening
Mm.
to it more than 20 years later. I'm still enjoying it.
Mm.
That's me on bass.
Wow.
So my
Mhm.
friend who's featured, he's playing the solo in this part. So it's my composition, but then he's featured playing the keys here. favorite compositions of
Then
all
you go into
time.
6/8. Okay, cool. There's some real instruments in there, like the
Um,
drums. Are the drums real?
uh, it's all keyboard based.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that was his
Sounds
keyboard
good.
that I was borrowing, and I played everything. He played that one solo, the piano
Ooh.
solo that I was showing you.
Hmm.
Uh, so I featured him there. We Are Nothing by Individuals, that's the high school band. Um,
Did
and
you guys sing in Arabic or English?
I wrote in English mostly, but
Oh,
I
okay.
I have songs in Arabic you can see here,
Mm. Hmm.
written in Arabic.
Hmm.
Let me see. Yeah, so I have weird songs in Arabic
Mm.
that
Hmm.
even for Egyptians are too weird. Yeah, really good stuff overall though. I mean, again,
Uh,
I tried to select the best of from that period, 2000 to 2004,
it's
and just
prolific, man.
mastered it and put it out there.
Hmm.
Fibonacci was a sound piece that I did as an installation at Northern in the
Mm.
gallery.
Mm.
This was a sonic sculpture, and I described what I was trying to do. It's 14 minutes long.
Mm.
This is more like the ambient side of things.
I
Um,
heard some of that earlier in one of those tunes. It reminded me of something that Brian Eno, the soundscape, this
exactly.
reminded me of Brian Eno's production of like David Bowie's "Low."
Nice. Yeah.
That
Classic.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah.
and because I did a lot of soundtracks, so that's always in the background for me, as you
Hmm.
saw. What I also did, score. Oh, Tone is an interesting one. I'll stop at that one. Let me see, do a quick overview, and then I'll return to the ones worth highlighting. Score and film are the same composition that I did for a film by Samuel Beckett called Film, and
Uh,
it stars Buster
Samuel
Keaton.
Beckett. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Samuel Beckett made one film called Film,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Buster Keaton, as you know,
Uh-huh.
in his later life, acts in it. So
Yes.
what I did is I pretty much watched the film and scored it, and
Hmm.
I basically did two versions of the same score. So score and film are the same, but just two versions of the same score. So if you were interested, you can play it and play this.
Play that
This is
over it.
score. Yeah.
I know
Hyde
about that.
Park.
Yeah.
Hyde Park is basically I collected random stuff that I did when I was living in Hyde Park.
Hmm.
A lot of interesting things. I mean, some of the
Mm.
stuff that was on the album Spidey and the Thunderstorm, but
Hmm.
also other things like this.
Mm.
Much more jazzy style, as you can tell.
Sounds
I
like
have,
a Washington D.C. go-go beat.
but
Yeah.
like the piano, like very jazzy on top of that. Um, I really like this one too, called The Itch from that period. So I have a lot of piano jams like that,
Mm-hmm.
that are more jazzy style.
You like that
Um,
808 uh patch that's on your synthesizer or the
yeah,
the equivalent? Those
I do.
very grumbly what do they call it? Distressed bass.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
do. I do.
Yeah.
I have a cover of Cry Baby Cry by the Beatles.
Mm.
A bunch of covers that Give Peace a Chance. So
Mm.
that's from the Chicago period. It's kind of anthology. And then I used to live in Georgia, rural Georgia. So again, I also,
The United States,
yeah,
Georgia. Oh, okay.
rural Georgia, yeah. Lived there for
Uh-huh.
5 years. And these are my compositions from that period.
Mm.
Um, this one you might find interesting because I think I may have sent you the sheets for this one, Georgia
Mm-hmm.
Summers.
Mm-hmm.
This was bass, clarinet, and piano, and those were
Mm-hmm.
two professional players who are friends of mine. I asked them
Mm.
to record it. So this is actually not me on keyboard. This is my composition. Give it to them. They played it.
Mm-hmm.
So listen to
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm. That's a pretty involved piano part.
Yeah, yeah. And the
Uh,
pianist is amazing. Like he's one of the
yeah.
top Egyptian pianists. So it's not easy.
No, you you put him through the ringer. And but
Yeah,
that
yeah,
bass clarinet is just beautiful how it was recorded too, with the being able to capture that low resonance on that instrument when it
yeah.
gets those deeper parts of the register of that
Hmm.
instrument.
Yes.
It's not easy to record.
No,
Yeah.
it's not a
Yeah.
perfect recording either. I mean, I use the Zoom and
It's great. Sounds good. You
it's
must have had
it's
it pretty
yeah,
near
it's pretty close,
the
yeah.
bass clarinet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's
at least
beautiful.
it's captured, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is what I do all the time. It's just that people hear it in different forms. But
Mm-hmm.
if I had the resources, I'll probably be doing more stuff like that. Because,
Mm.
if you're when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing classical music, you have to, pay the musicians because they worked hard to perfect
Mm-hmm.
their instrument.
That's a
So that's
fact.
my dream is to be able to have the budget to just do more live stuff like
Yeah.
that,
And
more
there's a lot of
concerts.
resources in the area for chamber strings. I know a lot of people. I know cellists and violinist, pretty good clarinet player
Nice.
who are adventurous. I mean, there's plenty of musicians. Not everybody's
Yeah.
uh, excited.
Have you
You
heard
know,
of Fethi Salema by any chance?
I have
Egyptian
not.
composer. So check him out when you can. He's
Say it again.
Fethi Salem. Yeah, Fethi
Fatih.
Salem. He studied under Sun Ra.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
basically, he brings the sort of avant-garde jazz elements into Egyptian music and mixes the two together. And
You
he's a
say,
huge,
can I interrupt for a minute?
yeah, yeah.
That's interesting that you said that sequence of words for that sentence because Sun Ra has always claimed the converse of what you just said.
Oh,
It's
the
like
opposite, the Egyptian.
he always said
So it's
that
reversed, yeah.
he was not an avant-garde musician
Right,
and
right.
that he is an expression of ancient Egyptian um,
Yeah,
cosmology in his music.
right, right.
Yeah, that's
But
just yeah.
like objectively speaking, he is kind of avant-garde, right?
Yeah.
Um, but he studied under him and um so I love his music because it's described as Oriental jazz, which is not a perfect phrase, but
Hmm.
it is what it is, it's
Oriental. Hmm.
Oriental
We
jazz,
don't
yeah.
say that anymore.
I know, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
Uh-huh.
I wrote this piece dedicated to him in kind of
Mm.
his style, so you can check it out. But there's a lot of so this the Georgia period is when I was doing my PhD.
Hmm.
So as I'm working on my PhD, I'm doing stuff like this.
Mm.
It's doing stuff like this that kept me
Yeah.
sane as I'm working on the PhD. It's
Mm.
like,
Mm.
always composing, writing. And for a lot of people, again, in the US, they don't understand. They think I'm like too distracted or doing too many things, but they don't understand
It's
how it all
overrated.
comes together,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know?
I understand. It's
So I'll just briefly talk about what's left since I think it's probably good to stop soon. Embracing the rejects, basically what I did with this one. All the tracks that I decided not to put for the Kemet mixtape as the greatest hits, I
mhm.
decided the excluded one are gonna have their own album,
Mm.
and they called it Embracing the Rejects. So these are all the songs that I didn't think were good enough
Mm.
to be in the Kemet mixtape.
Mm.
Again, it's old stuff from 2002.
Mm.
So a lot of not necessarily great quality recording but
Mm.
a lot of cool ideas still.
Mhm.
This is my most ambitious project that I shared with you, the score, the Chicago
Mm.
Symphony,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it's 40-minute composition. Also, you can see that it has more engagement. Um, and this one I would love to do it live. So this is me
Mhm.
performing it. I'd love to have this one performed live. It's complex piece.
Mm.
Um, Look at that. So these are my parents actually looking at
Oh.
the bean.
Oh. Wow.
But what I did is I noticed I erased myself. So it makes it look trippy because you're
Uh-huh.
like right? How does it make sense as a picture?
Right.
So I'll be standing behind him.
Huh,
I
clever.
deleted myself and it looks like this. Um, this is a Portal Fest in Santa Fe. I
Hmm.
performed live, so I put that recording there.
What was the
Um,
last? They stopped doing that, didn't they?
I did it twice, and
Oh,
I think
Portal Fest. Yeah,
Portal
that's
Fest, yeah,
on people's porches and around
yeah, yeah,
town and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah. But they
Hmm.
call it Portal, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and this one is really cool. This song by Frank Zappa that I covered, "Drum All Over."
Hmm. I
So
think I
again,
know it. Yeah.
it's a great song, and
It.
you can hear
Yeah.
me singing, and then I did this one because I'm interested in sound healing as well.
Hmm.
So this one is
Binaural
called
beats.
Binaural Beats Sound Healing for the Masses because it's a free album that's just sound frequencies, um,
Sounds
completely
good.
abstract. Yeah, it's completely
Hmm.
tonal.
Binaural.
Yeah, binaural beats, and
Are
then
you? Do you have specific frequencies that you're
yeah,
honing in on to
yeah. So you can see there are
like?
four tracks.
Mm-hmm.
First one is 174 plus
Mm-hmm.
285, and then 396 plus 417. So it has a sequence.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting
Mm-hmm.
higher. And then
Mm-hmm.
explaining what each frequency does. But I'm combining, that's the binaural aspect. You're going to get from one side 174, the other side 285. And
Mm-hmm.
then they combine inside your head. And it's trippy
Mm-hmm.
to experience
Yeah.
it.
Are you using sine waves or what do you
Yeah,
what yeah,
using
okay.
sine waves. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like, on the
Cool.
abstract end of things. Architect of Truth is, I think, around the time that you saw me promoting this album,
Mm,
um, which is my latest one.
mm,
And I'm really proud of this one. So that one is out there.
mm,
Um, Repetition ad infinitum is a live performance that I did for Portal Fest, the second
mm,
one,
mm,
and it's just one. I like doing one long piece as opposed to many short pieces.
mhm,
But what's interesting is like this piece. Let's see if how it sounds like. Because what I do usually is like I have an experiment of a composition and then I play it out in this way, and then when I record it, it's much more polished and organized. But I
mhm.
want to show you an example of that. It's fading in, so kind of a slow build up.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought
there's
there
a
were people out here. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
because it's
okay.
live, yeah.
Wow. There's some kind of truck or something. Or is that you?
The bass, that's me.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm building it up. So this is the live performance, yeah.
Got it.
Let me skip ahead a little bit.
This is outdoors too.
Outdoors, yeah.
Uh,
So I did a lot of looping for the harmonies and then I played the melody live.
did
And
they
so
set did they set up the speakers so that they could experience
yeah, it's binaural.
some?
Yeah.
Okay, they did.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
So
All right.
that was the experience that people had. So
Mhm.
that piece is this piece, but like instead of 45 minutes, this is the 5 minute version of the live Good Samaritan. anyways, that's the polished version of the.
Mm-hmm.
So in the live version, I kind of explore ideas, and I want to be surprised because I'm also improvising. And then when I go home, I'm like, okay, now I have it figured out, and the piece is complete, and then I record it.
Mm-hmm.
But for I guess for most people, they wouldn't get that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the piece that you saw me perform at the CFA, for example, do you
Mm-hmm.
remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
I think you were there for
I
the
was there.
Mold to Gold. So that's again a 38-minute piece, but the recorded version will probably be 5 minutes as well, version of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
much more polished.
Mm-hmm.
I have an outtakes of Architect of Truth. These are all the tracks that were not included. I created an album for them. And then I created this album called Unitary Democrat, well, it's EP, Unitary Democratic Non-Sectarian Palestine.
All right.
And this is the PLO image that they were using. And this is their wording, which I really
Mm-hmm.
like, Unitary Democratic Non-Sectarian.
Mm-hmm.
And it has two pieces, Unitary Democratic Non-Sectarian and Palestine. So Palestine is a re-recording of an old song that I wrote in the early 2000s in the
Mm-hmm.
context of the Second Intifada. And I found that
Mm-hmm.
the what I was saying back then resonated today, so I basically decided to re-record the song. And Nicolas Contera, our common friend, he's featured.
Mm-hmm.
He has a solo on there.
Mm.
The cool piece. There's a nice piece called Rojava. Um, a friend of mine really likes this one, so let me play a bit of it.
Very. Well, you got
Yeah,
some Taksim going on there.
yeah. So it's a really
Yeah.
cool piece. I had
Yeah.
fun performing that, as you can tell.
That's
Um,
live, huh?
yeah, and it's a very ecstatic experience. I think it's like a
Mm.
spiritual experience when I enter that zone, and it's
Mm.
just like channeling. Um, I did the hymn to Aten, which is one of the oldest hymns in the world from ancient
Mm-hmm.
Egypt, and pretty much did a whole conceptual piece around it, reading the hymn and have a composition in the background.
Mm.
Um, and then these two are collaborations with my music professors from AC.
Mm.
I took his compositions, Ashraf Fouad, and rearranged it, and he loved it. He was
Mm.
One is dedicated to Greek composer John Babukis, who passed away recently, and
Mm.
also Mansour Hassan, who also passed away.
Mm.
Um, Freedoms is a collaboration I did with a friend of mine called Karim Ratib. He wrote the lyrics and I did the music for this one. Great song.
Mm.
Um, like it's a lot of fun. And then this one is a really, it's very much an experiment that I did using the Fibonacci sequence
Fibonacci sequence. Yeah.
to what I did is I used it as a guide for intervals.
Mm.
So that's how I
Mm-hmm.
translated all the numbers and
Mm.
then um, put that together mathematically. So it's like an abstract piece.
So
And
when you,
then
okay, I'm
go for it.
curious. 13, 21.
Um,
The
Let
other,
me
those,
see if I can show you the visualization. because I did share with the explanation. Let me see.
I'm just curious, like once you get beyond the Western notation of 12, um, did you go through, are you dealing with microtones in order to like
So
complete
this is
those
a
sequences?
formula that I created.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Um, so I'm using intervals and harmonics, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the vertical part is the harmony,
Mm-hmm.
and the horizontal part was like the melody,
Mm-hmm.
and how I stacked it in terms of like the tracks and so yeah. So as you can see, I'm saying zero is silence, one would be C0, one C0, two would be D0, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I put it
Oh,
together.
so okay, so if you get to 13 or 21 or 34, 55, you're going up the octave.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Or past the octave. Okay.
And then the way I harmonize this, you can see that has the logic where
Hmm.
it's moving diagonally like this. So
Hmm.
I moved it a little, so it creates like interesting harmonies too.
Mm-hmm.
That's like an
Wonderful.
experiment, mathematical
Mm-hmm.
experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's another side of my brain where I play with stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
lastly, this is a collaboration I did with but also on Khalil Gibran. It's the same guy I did the other Khalil Gibran song with. So
Mm.
that's the latest thing I did. I picked a poem and I pretty much a vocalist
Mm.
on this track. And that's an overview. Again, if we had more time, I would play more things, but I want to be respectful
Mm.
and not take too much time. And I think it's a good introduction. The idea is to, if people are curious, they can go and indulge.
Mm-hmm.
But any final thoughts or questions? I think
I have many,
before,
but we
yeah,
could probably have a different conversation a different day.
yeah. But if you were
But
to wrap up,
um,
because you sat through a lot of experiences over 25 years,
oh, it's
and I
beautiful.
sampled a lot of things. So if you were
Hmm.
to kind of, is there any kind of theme or reflection of any unity across time that you see?
Well, what I there are a couple things that I've noted, which is in agreement with the uncategorizable context of what you have going on. And I really think that it's admirable that I, I I'm pretty sure you're aware of all these trends and these subgenres and all these different things, but it seems like you've kind of surpassed you've kind of executed like this rejection of trends, but it doesn't matter because you're already doing them. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like you're sitting in them. You're sort of exploring so much that you're actually maybe in a way being part of a manifestation of these different subgenres that have occurred in the past 20 some years.
Mm,
You know, that's something that is interesting to me right now as I'm hearing your stuff. And I do want to know more about how this is for me it's a complicated question to ask because it's not something I can put in a nutshell, but how much of your process has to do with um, beyond inspiration, but accidents.
mm.
Does that play at all into what you're working on?
Yeah, I think to address the first point, I learned about I learn about a lot of genres based on people's responses to my music. So some people described it to me as space music. I've never used that term myself. Other people told me synth wave or retro wave. Again, I never, because I don't think like here's a genre that I do and I'm gonna compose in that genre. I just
Yeah.
compose what comes from inside my soul, from inside my heart, from inside my mind, and then people hear it based on categories they have inside their minds. But that's not how my mind works. So that's the first part, and that's why I struggle with what kind of music. And the easiest answer to that I would say, well, electronic music, or I would say classical music, and then it's simplified at that level. But people are never satisfied with that. They want more. What subgenre? Well, give me more, you know? So, so I'm hoping that listening to this, watching this video, show them that it's hard to answer that question because I'm trying to fold a lot into one, like Arabic music, jazz, classical music, all kinds of electronic music, even rock.
Hmm.
It's all in there. So that's the first part. The second part, I would say, um, number one, I'm a composer, which means uh, I'm organizing elements in a very anal way, and that I think comes across clearly. But there's a second part where, as a musician, that's the part that's more soulful or spiritual. And you heard that, and especially the period when I'm doing an MFA or a PhD. Um, I put a composition as a base, and then I want to improvise over it. And that's like where you get the jazzy aspect. And that's where the jazzy part, I don't have any of that planned out. I'm just like, I know what kind of scale world or scales I'm in, and I'm just like playing within that. So that part is jazz, improvisation, a lot of happy accidents.
Hmm.
Um, so, and that I explored more, I think, after I came to the US, where um, kind of jamming more with myself and being more free.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, so but I think with the more recent stuff, I think it's much more structured.
Hmm.
Like but it I always have to have like some kind of solo elements in there to capture the raw emotions as well. So I think I
Hmm.
still, yeah, like if you think about the Frère Jacques piece that you heard from Istinta,
Hmm.
it's structured very much so, but then it has improvisation in it that becomes part of the composition. So it gets
Yeah.
subsumed into the composition, but it definitely there's always room for improvisation and happy accidents.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are they accidents? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if
I
they
think
are accidents.
it's a
Yeah.
divine thing. That's how it feels like to me. Because I'm in a different place completely and I'm sure you know this because you're a musician. You're like you lose almost yourself and you're channeling something greater than yourself. And
I
that's
feel that way.
why
Hmm.
for me when I listen to music from the past, this going back to this theme of time travel,
Hmm.
um, it's not like an ego thing. It feels like a spiritual experience. Like this is my spirit captured in audio form back then, sent to my
Hmm.
spirit now, and it still resonates and it's still touching and it's still moving me on some level. There's obviously a lot of intellectualization involved as well.
Sure. Hmm.
And there's music theory, all that stuff, but I think it's a combination of that with the also the emotional, the soulful, and all that.
Hmm. Do you feel like you're in this is something I'm about to turn 60, and so I'm having to like realize that I've lived all these lives and did all these things as a musician, and I'm always wondering uh, if I'm in conversation with myself over time, like reflecting on all of the different times in my life, for instance, where I've been concentrated on one style of music, done with this kind of thing, or whatever situation I was in my own life. Do you feel like at this point you're having all this work that you have generated is in conversation with itself from the time you were in high school, the time you went, yeah, to all the activity that you did in Cairo and then moving to Chicago and then like all those eras? Do you feel they're in conversation with each other?
That's a good question. Like this question about unity, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
whether it's complete diversity. And I like something from Frank Zappa. He talks about conceptual continuity, and he
Mm-hmm.
regarded all of his compositions, he could would describe them as one big note. And and that's why he would, for example, return to themes, let's say a theme that he had from 20 years or 30 years ago, he
Mm-hmm.
would return to it and there's almost like a lot of self-references and inside jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
that's I think
yeah, I relate
sometimes
to
it's
that.
off-putting, but yeah, I
I
love
relate.
Zappa, but you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to. There's some context
You need a
sometimes.
lot of
Like,
context, yeah,
yeah,
because if you have to know, yeah, if you listen to something out of the blue, you're like, what? It doesn't make sense. And honestly, the stuff that's like the humorous things are not necessarily my favorite.
Me neither.
I like the serious stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've often
you know,
said with my friends when we talk about this, they assume that I like Zappa, and I do, but there's times where I feel I wished I didn't know the English language
right,
so
right,
that
right.
I could just hear the musicality of his
I
music.
know. Yeah, and he could write great lyrics,
So
but he could also like, it could be really stupid lyrically, and so
yeah.
it's a range. But it's how to navigate that world. But yeah, going
Mhm,
back to your question,
mhm,
I find, for example, I didn't go through this album, but I was telling you about Cairo Tone. Let me just show you the image. I won't
mhm.
play because time, but
Yeah.
um, this one over here. Can you see the album cover?
Hmm. I do.
So this was a Casio keyboard that I borrowed from a good friend of mine, Ahmed Khalifa. And the whole album, it's called Cairo Tone because I use Casio tone for the whole album. And it's a classical music album. Again, if
Hmm.
you are not distracted by the Casio sounds, you'll be able to hear that. But most people will
Hmm.
be distracted by it. They'll just hear the Casio tone. But in my mind, I'm writing like, I'm engaging with in conversation with Tchaikovsky and
Uh-huh.
Stravinsky and writing
Hmm.
these pieces. And then what happens is I would return to themes from them later on in one of my soundtracks
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then develop it. And so I think to answer your question, it's like there's a lot of inconsistency in our lives, but I feel like
Hmm.
when it comes to music, it does provide the most consistency for me. It's the thing that when I return and even though I'm not able to capture, as I told you, certain performances, but I know what that felt like in that moment, and I'm glad that it was captured so that I can hear it and I don't know, it just touches me.
Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps. Um,
It's important.
and
It's
yeah,
important
so
to document your stuff.
there's a universality to it, I guess.
Hmm. And to reiterate something that you continually say, I believe that you're right about the fragile temporal nature of music in general. Like you can be there in that moment,
Yeah,
but there's a lot of things going on that are beyond linear time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
mean,
nonlinear,
yeah.
but a project that I'm working on now, I don't know when it's gonna come out, but I have these MIDI compositions. We were talking
Mm,
about MIDI earlier,
mm-hmm,
from the early 2000s.
mm-hmm,
And I want to arrange them from today's perspective. So I'm not
mm-hmm,
changing the compositions, they're the same, but it's how they would sound to me now. And
mm-hmm,
so that's what I'm working on now. That means that something doesn't change, which is the composition, but then the interpretation does change over time. So I think in a
mm-hmm,
way it's a dialectic. The,
mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm,
composition is stable,
mm-hmm.
but it could be reinterpreted the way I reinterpret the Egyptian national anthem or Frere Jacques. Or, so, so it's
Mm-hmm.
both and, right?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of what I was trying to get at with asking about the conversation between all of these times. Is it kind of like a dialectic with
Mm,
your own progression and your own generation and own creativity, you know?
yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm basically thinking about that. Yeah.
In
Hmm.
some sense, I probably think that some of my older stuff is better,
Mm,
but it's just because I got technically better, I can
mm,
make the newer stuff sound better.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
it's kind of a tricky thing, but I know this, and most people wouldn't know that. But the audience, from what I found, they care if it sounds good to them, as
Mm,
opposed to the idea. And I'm more of an idea person.
mm.
And that's why I was telling you that from the beginning. That's like sometimes, like the Casio Tone album for me sounds amazing, but it's Casio Tone, so not for everyone.
I guess it all depends on how it's produced.
Right, right.
Like you could re-release it and open the have a gate on it and make it super compressed but really loud, and
Yeah.
who knows what.
Well, I mastered all of them, so that's why even though the recording quality is not great, because it's mastered nicely, it
Mm-hmm.
has that kind of oomph. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that's cool.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
probably it's a good place for us to stop here. So thank you so much, Alan,
Oh,
for your
thank you for your
engagement and
time.
for listening.
It's a pleasure, honestly. It has
And I
been
hope
a
it for
real
the
pleasure.
no, my pleasure. And I hope it was a good listening experience for whoever is watching, listening. And I did this as an intro to make it easier for folks to navigate and to show that it's, complex world will need more time and curiosity, but we just gave you a taste of it in this dialogical form. So,
Awesome.
yeah, thanks everyone.
Take care.